Trigger warning. This episode may contain content that could be distressing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the New Earth Studios podcast, Bring Your Truth with Alex Roseman. We'll be bringing on guests that will be bearing their soul, their transformational journey from the old earth to the new earth, bringing about the balance of duality and reshifting our perspective of how we see things, because in the new earth, it's all about love, it's all about inclusion, it's all about unity. So if this is something that you're interested in and you want to put your focus in unity, unification and love, this is a podcast for you. Thank you so much and hope you enjoy the show. So, Kair, Dr. Hakim, welcome to our podcast, New Earth Studios, into our New Earth Cafe. We actually met for the first time when you attended our event, Bring Your Truth, which was actually beautiful to have you there. I remember one of our guest speakers, Naveen, was sharing her, was it Naveen and also Rosa, their encounter, then you brought your expertise. And, it was quite interesting to have you in a space with spiritual awakened people, and then your expertise and how you opened you were. And now I see you show up in a shirt like this, I'm thinking you've done some plant medicines because you are a trip. So being here is just beautiful. And we had the pleasure of being at your clinic yesterday. Absolutely. And, really felt at home, really felt welcomed. Thank you to your son who really, if he wants something done, he always makes sure it happens. So I really appreciate that. And
very sharp about that. He's the one who really make it happen that we came here. And
exactly.
He's like, do you want to come to this function, my wife and myself, and said, why not? Let's go. And it was really nice, surprising evening.
Yeah, well.
It was really nice. I loved it. We met a lot of people. We listened to a lot of beautiful stories. And I felt like, it's really all connecting, and we met a lot of friends, and we made friends as well,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, thanks to my young man here.
Yeah, well, he's a superstar in the making. He's finding his way in life in this new reality, ultimately, because we're moving from the old earth into the new earth. And obviously, you've been around, you're sort of seeing this transition, this exponential growth. What's happening when you are seeing your son moving into this new phase of reality, what is actually going on. Now, usually on this podcast, we're moving into this Bring Your Truth. We have people who come in with a spiritual awakening of sorts, but I've also opened up for experts like yourself to come in and share your experience and sort of to maybe shed a light for those who are going through this experience, that are going through this shift, how the spine plays a part in it. Because how I see the spine is, thank you very much, how I see the spine is, it's an antenna that picks up a signal. And my health used to be before just going into the gym for vanity reasons. And I realized when I pull my back out and I do things like this, I can't do much else. So now all my exercises are based on just making sure my spine is healthy. And then you show up in my reality. And I'm thinking, okay, there's a reason why you're here in our reality. Maybe there's a connection to the spiritual awakening.
Yes.
That has to do with the spine from a logical perspective that you will share. And you already gave me a little snippet yesterday, which was exactly what was needed in order for me to see a connection with my wife and her injury with the spine. So I say injury, just an upgrade, something that she needed to be made aware of. So I open it usually for guests to kind of share their journey from the old earth to the new earth, their spiritual awakening. I'm not sure if you're going to surprise me with something like that, but I kind of give it to you to, how did you get into this and what brought you, into this space? And then how can we ultimately help those who are watching this to stay aligned to the divine with their spine? You see what just happened there?
Yes.
That's beautiful. So I give it to you, Doctor.
Well, it's interesting, journey that I had. Actually, I'm originally from Damascus, Syria. I did my medical school in Syria. Then after that, I hit USA in 1981. And at that time, I was, trying to be specialized in one field of the medicine. The spine was one of my, always interest part, because I feel the spine is your foundation for your body. And that foundation, if it's not well, the whole body are not well either, And really, as you saw, it's manifested itself in many patients who has this back problem. It's about 70% of the people, during their lifetime, they would have a back problem or neck problem. So it's really a very common problem, and it's come from multiple reasons. Maybe we'll touch on it later on. But that kind of intrigued me to go into that field. And, I landed in New York, by the way. That was in 1981. And New York at that time was a very wild, wild city. It's not like it is now after Giuliani came in. And interesting thing that my thought of USA when I was in Syria used to see shows Love Boats, if you know those, as well as Dallas. And both those are like very high-end type of shows, show the hierarchy level in USA, especially Dallas, which talked about family who are into oil, very super rich, their life. So that was very famous, series episode, and we used to watch. And then what's called Love Boat like a sailing boat, and show all those entertaining stories, But, when I landed in New York, I said, like, what is this? I never thought, USA like this. New York at that time, like, dirty city, a lot of homeless, a lot of people who really a lot of crime and problem there. And that was like really, the mafia was there. The mafia literally was existing in New York at that time.
Okay.
And so I saw like stories like, people like attacking people in the subway and this and that. And like was really quite surprised. And people at that time, I feel people walking and talking to themselves. And at that time, didn't have a phone, of course. But this is my first surprise in USA. So I stayed 1 year in New York. Then I went to Chicago. At that time, I started my academic journey. I did a master's degree in public health in University of Illinois in Chicago. And that's when I came up about the wellness and prevention that really I have great passion for. Then I, start my field in neurology, And neurology is that condensed into your brain and spine into one specialty, So I did a 40 year of residency in the spine and joint and brain, and it was very evolving. At that time, by the way, it was the first time when AIDS started in 1982, 83. At that time, we didn't know what type of problem it was, like hitting people, and people was dying. Then, eventually we discovered there was a virus, the AIDS virus, like COVID, what hit people, like what's going on? People getting sick, getting in the emergency room, it was hit so fast. The same way it was AIDS at that time. So with a lot of research, there's a lot of scare,
Yeah.
It was very scary, all the USA,
You say that, and there's like children literally crying outside the studio right now.
Yeah.
They're picking up the resonance. Okay,
Yeah,
so
they are enjoying our talk.
yeah, of course they're enjoying it. Absolutely. So yeah.
And I get my journey into neurology.
Yeah.
So I went between two universities, University of Wisconsin in Madison, and I did then also residency and fellowship in Wayne State University in Detroit. So that's how I kind of took my educational journey, in USA. And after I finished my educational journey, I, started my practice in 1991 in Birmingham, Alabama, deep south.
Deep south.
Deep south, and that was really.
I so want to do it right now. The accent.
Deep south, baby.
Right down there.
Well, my son is like really have a great accent. You want to talk a little bit about
About your accent?
With Dr. Hakim over here and Alex and New Earth talking about medicine and the spine. Y'all stay tuned, folks.
We'll put that at the beginning. So yeah, so you got into you stepped into the South
Neurology.
Alabama, New Orleans,
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham,
Yeah,
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yep.
It's a very nice city. The beautiful about Alabama is very, very greenery.
Yeah.
Exactly like
Your
here.
son was saying.
Yeah, it's very greenery. Like you have, all the mountains are wooded. You talk about like wood, all through. You just, it's all green. The state, because so much rain. It's very hilly. Have a nice river, nice lake. It's very nice atmosphere there. So I stayed really, from 1991 there until I moved to Dubai. So we stayed, pretty long time. And Kair was born in Alabama. So he's a
You were
native,
born in Alabama.
native
Wow.
Alabamian.
That's awesome. That's awesome. He's moved them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that's.
So you're born. We hear a baby crying. You see, like we're having our own soundtrack.
Yes, you see.
It's incredible.
There's a resemblance.
Yeah.
So that's again that's my academic journey. At that time, we established our center in Birmingham, Alabama, in 1991. American Spine Center, and really it was the largest center for spine and joint in our region. And I like share the pictures of those with you. And
They'll show up on the screen now.
yes, that will be really our landmark, in Alabama. It was a center of excellence. It was a referral center, and really we are specialized in spine, joint, and neuro. So we're very super specialized, and that's what I believe now is we have to be super specialized and personalized medicine in order to provide, really cutting edge technology in medicine.
Of course.
So, general medicine is good, but it's not good enough. If you have a problem, you need to go to the super specialist in that little area, in that specific area, and that's very important.
Absolutely, I agree on you that when there is a specific problem, there is a specialist. But sometimes people can be so hyper-focused on one area that they forget the whole body. Because obviously, it's not just one spine, that's it. There's the lungs and there's the liver and there's the heart. Everything is interconnected,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
But it's obviously helpful to have somebody who specializes in spine than, a general practitioner who's, depending on the issue, right? Because, you know so much about the spine, which is the foundation, like you said. It's everything hangs off it. Nervous system, it's so complex that when I mentioned at the beginning, like it's an antenna picking up signals, What do you feel about that? People having a spiritual awakening. There is a spirit. Do you resonate with this? Is it because you're so, you're into what you're into that you don't have space for that? Or do you notice that there's a shift happening? I'm keen to know what you feel. And then we can go into the spine for sure.
You have to look at that. What's in the spine? People look into spine as a vertebrae, and again, it's correctly so. And I'm going to share this, and I hope we'll share that with the screen. The spine is vertebrae, and you have the disc in between. The disc two-part, nucleus and annulus. But that's what always people focus on. But we forgot about the most important element is your spinal cord. Spinal cord is your antenna, if you wish, that connect your brain, all function of the brain through this canal we call neuro canal, and this antenna, imagine, come from your neck and then start branching to your arm, to your shoulder, to your heart, to your lung, to your abdomen, your GI system, your bladder, your colon, then go to your legs. So this is like an antenna, connect all your brain like a cable full of nerves and signals, carry all the information from the brain to the whole body. So the spine, basically, forget about the bone. This is the most important organ, and that is your spinal cord, connecting all your function of the brain down to your little thing. Now I'm moving my arm because signal come from my brain, go through that spinal cord, come to my nerve here, come to my muscle, and that muscle, say, move this, because I am putting an order, come from here. So this is your main frame right here, and this is your cable that send the signal to your, the muscle that you have to do this, that, And that's really very interesting because I like the, you said the antenna things, It's literally like that, It's really, this is where your signal go through to your end receiver, which is really your muscle, your hand, your fingers, everything come through that cord and come through that vertebrae. All that through the vertebrae, and that is where you have. And that's why, the disc problem, it's a bad problem, but spinal cord injury is the worst problem. And we see cases who have a spinal cord injury. If you have the level, at C5, C6, then your arms are affected. And it's below that, because your arm and legs affected. It's below that at, at T1, thoracic 1, 2, then your only lower parts affected, you're okay in the arm. So imagine that injury, if it's really, magnificent to affect the function of that spinal cord, the whole operation compromised. You are invalid on a wheelchair.
Like, I think he recently passed, Superman.
Superman, exactly.
Yeah, he fell off the horse and he severed his spinal cord, right?
Exactly.
And
See,
I think he had passed away. I think I saw an interview with his children recently.
He did pass away, but exactly. Superman severed his spinal cord high up, so he has no movement except his face. His eyes and tongue, but upper extremity paralyzed.
I've completely forgotten his name.
Yeah.
But we'll pop it up on the screen there. That's quite interesting. Now that you're associating with like an antenna, because I can only go from my own experience when I felt like I'm channeling something that is not from me. And where does it come from? Like you said, the mainframe, right? There's what we kind of logically aware of. For those who are having a spiritual awakening where something else feels like they've stepped into them, they're picking up a signal, because then we have like the collective consciousness, and we have thoughts. And sometimes we don't even know if there are thoughts. Maybe they're our ancestors' thoughts that have been passed down through genetics. And then there's a collective consciousness, like because we're an antenna, we kind of pick up all these signals that are not even ours. Now people are picking up potentially signals that are maybe not in the collective consciousness, but something outside of the collective. People are talking extraterrestrials and things like that. I can't vouch for that. I can only go from my own experience of, I feel like I'm channeling something. What do you make about that? Apart from that, I should see a shrink, probably.
Well, I mean, this is a very interesting point, and always we talk about Kair have very positive vibe. What does that mean? When he's around, people are active, engaging, this, that. So now he has such an active vibe. So that vibe, what you have said, is something can transmit it, from his presence to surrounding. And that's, now I'm talking, my voice goes through resonance through the air.
Okay.
Basically through the air, And does it go to you, come to your tympanic membrane, go to your middle ear, then go to internal ear, and then go to your brain, and then you receive that, then you understand. So it's kind of like all waves of signals, come from wave here to electric here. When you move your tympanic membrane, then you create electric signals that bring the signals from the your cranial nerve 8, which is the hearing nerve, go to your part of the brain that can receive the signal and understand it, analyze it, then I respond. You see how fast it is? Now, as I'm talking, you understand that you can ask me questions, then I ask you. It is so fast. It's incredible of that discussion. So it's not only you hear it, but you understand it, you analyze it, and then you come with a response to that, or you continue to listen to me, And that's really the voice. What I'm saying could have just a voice, educational, or could have emotional thing. If I tell something, may make you sad, or I say something bad word, make you angry. Imagine it's went to there, you analyze it, it went to another part of the brain, make you angry, or make you sad, or make you happy. Look how much, it is so much connection in the network that you have. Then you analyze it, then I can see others speaking, I can look at your face like, you don't like what I said, So I have to read your facial expression.
Yeah.
See the dynamic? You see the dynamic? And that's all happening fraction of a second. And that's hearing. Vision is light speed.
And it's funny you said it, because what are we reacting from? Because we have our precondition program, we have our beliefs, we're filtering reality through all of these conditions, right?
Absolutely.
So we're instinctively operating for our subconscious, wherever this, however it operates in this field, right? Then it goes into the spinal cord, and we're consciously aware of some of what's going on, but instinctively we're reacting from something else. They say the subconscious knows what's happening 7 seconds before the consciousness does. So is there anything such as a mistake or accident, or is it predetermined by us because we've created that as a feedback mechanism to show us something about ourselves? So knowing that the spinal cord is obviously doing its magic, we're reacting from something. Do you link beliefs and conditions to the spinal cord? Do you see how maybe an injury is maybe a feedback mechanism to bring somebody back into alignment, which is quite prevalent for a spinal cord? Why does somebody have a certain area? Have you ever linked it to something psychomatically?
You have the physical issue, and i.e. if the patient have a disc herniation, for example. That's a physical issue. And this herniation, just to kind of show, and that is the nucleus, which is the normal inside. If it's pushed, which is gel,
Yeah.
if it's pushed too much, it penetrates the annulus, and that we call disc herniation. That's very common people use. I have disc herniation. It means the disc material penetrated the annulus and pushed on the nerve, and that's what disc herniation. So this is a physical part. Now, subsequent to that, this can trigger cascade of problem, which can be called inflammation, because the material inside the disc has chemical in it, but closed. And this is, does not affect, surrounding, because it is not leaking out. When this chemical leak out, it goes to have chemical inflammation here, and then give you this acute pain, numbness, tingling, weakness, sharpshooting, sciatica we call it. So all this comes from this physical part. Now there is an emotional part, as you were trying to say.
Trying to.
Yeah, the emotional part, what happened that, how do you respond to that? Some people, for example, very tough, and they say, okay, the pain threshold is not, very low. They will tough it out. They may continue to go or may play, and some people see injured on the field in the sport, and because of the heat of the moment, they get up and continue to play, although it could be their injury bad, But some people, the pain threshold is low, and that's when you are preconditioned, what you talked about. Your condition of your personality, yourself, your brain, how are you conditioned during childhood to this, is all reflected your response to the pain in this example. So how you respond to that is really, make it, magnify it or minimize it, and also that reflect back on you and how that affects your life, affect your activity, affect your emotion, and make you feel like depressed. You don't sleep well. You're seeking help through pills, for example. So all that is a preconditioned you as a person, and you are kind of programmed. And I always say the patient here and the patient in the United States, they have the same problem. They seek treatment differently. In USA, the standard treatment for people who have back pain is pill. The first thing, pills. Mm-hmm. Then you do therapy. Then you do this, you do this, you do this. But pills is the first line. Here, people, I don't want a pill. I want to cure my problem. Programmed.
Holistic approach.
Holistic approach. Mm-hmm. And they say, no, I give them a pill. If this pill is just killing my pain or treating my problem, if I'll kill my pain, I don't want it. I can't take the pain. I need something to cure my problem.
Yeah. Come to the root cause rather than just the symptom.
Exactly, yeah. Right. And multidisciplinary, as Kair said, people like to see how we can do this in multidisciplinary approach, meaning like multiple things. So you see, even how we are conditioned in the society, how we approach, how we are brought up. So all that perception of your condition and how to do it come from multifactorial, i.e. from your upbringing, from your family, from society, even doctors, how they practice. So it's kind of like interesting. I used to have like, I would say like dual face. When I'm in USA, I'm treating one way, and when I'm here, I'm treating another way, which is kind of interesting,
What do you mean by that?
Like in USA, when patients come to see me, the first thing they expect from me to give them painkiller.
Wow, they've been so programmed.
Yeah, they are programmed to pay pain. If you don't give them painkiller, you do not treat them.
Wow.
A lot of narcs.
Yeah, a lot of narcs. And the narcotic epidemic in USA, it's incredibly, it's a massive problem, and it's really widespread, and it's really kind of disturbed the society, because a lot of people who are having narc problem, because what happened, people have surgery for whatever reason, like even take appendix out. When they're out, there's pain, so they give them pain medication for a week, 2, until the pain goes away, and the patient take 2-3 weeks, and then they feel like, oh, this pain medication make you feel a little better, pump you up, feel this. Then they take a long, I still have pain, so kind of continue, and that really become mushrooming, over this. Not only I'm talking about like people who have back pain or headache, even people like post-surgical things, which you naturally, you give them for about a week or 2 or 3 pain medication, but people, went ahead and like it, depend on it, and start asking for it, and again, it's propagate with him and his society, and that's what the narc, care was talking about. It's really bad,
So how did you deal with when somebody came into your hospital and wanted to, sort out their back? What would you say to them if they wanted a painkiller? How would you communicate that? Probably not the best approach.
Well, in USA, as I said, they want their instant relief of their pain. They need to go home and have no pain. So the only way you can do that is through medication. You can't. There's no magic things I can do, because what happened when the patient comes into me, usually we take the patient a little bit later. We don't see the patient who just get their back and just come to see us. They tend to see the primary care, the family medicine doctor. So you went through many, then they come to the specialist. When they come to the specialist, they're already on medication. They come to us, I'm on this. But that's too much for you. Doc, that's what helped me. That's what killed my pain. You know what I mean? This is how they come to us as a specialist. We are not the first line. We are like second or third line, depending how their trip is. So by the time they come to us on this medication, it's okay. You need to have, epidural block. We have to give you like stem cell injection. We have to do physical therapy. We have to do exercise. But this doesn't happen tomorrow. So they need to give them something they are on currently to continue control their pain while we are doing the rest of the treatment. Even when we get the rest of the treatment successful, they tend to have dependent on this medication. They've been on it for a few weeks, few months, few years, and that's how it is. You see what I'm saying?
Did you notice it yourself when you were there? Like, you were young growing up there.
Right.
What was the situation like for people out there if you look forward to...
In which aspect?
Just your experience. Your father sharing that, when you were there, that people are coming in there, it's quite a problem. Narcotics. You said it yourself.
I actually, when I was in high school,
Yeah.
Spain Park High School in the U.S., there was one kid in our basketball team in varsity. He overdosed, and he was only 16, 17. He looked perfectly fine. He was athletic, but next thing, months to a year, we found out he overdosed on drugs. And it's very common in the high schools. I went to a public high school for my last 2 years of high school. A lot of people overdosed on drugs.
What kind of drugs?
I would say pain medication.
What's there's so many documentary, oxycodone, that's it, Oxycontin.
Yeah, oxycodone.
And now it's fentanyl coming in, I believe.
Fentanyl, that was, and they buy it from the street.
Mm-hmm.
They buy it from the street, and
it's accessible. So many high school kids think it's the new hype, or it's the new cool thing to do. They end up getting addicted, not showing up to class, have poor performance in sports and athletics, and it takes over their life, and their mind is fixed on it. Next thing you find them dead on the floor.
Wow.
Can you tell me about the police in your school?
Oh yeah. So since I went to a public high school, we had 3-4 cops in our school,
Yeah.
and they would search the kids for drugs or search their cars or the locker rooms because there would be dealers or suppliers in the school. So they're very strict about that and adamant about that. They would do it, like a couple times a month, just to make sure things in the school are going on smoothly.
I mean, it's not surprising, especially in the States, we're talking narcotics, you're talking guns, accessible. It's a pandemic for sure, or epidemic. It's prevalent out there. Is that the reason why you moved to Dubai? Partly?
One of the reasons, absolutely, And Kair was in one of those best public school in our region, in very high-end district area. Even in spite of that, he always told me stories of people having, taking the drug in the bathroom, exchanging marijuana, and away from the cop, and this and that, and that's it's like the routine in the high school of really high end. The lower end school, forget it. I'm talking about really those are well-to-do families. They are like that. Right?
How did you stay away from it? Or did you? We set this all up to find the truth, didn't we, Dr. Hakim?
We have line detector tests.
Yeah, exactly. It picks it up, we can tell.
I never felt so interrogated in my life.
You're on the spot now.
I had a good social circle. Actually, so I went to an Islamic school prior to my public high school, Spain Park. So I was more tight with those people, and I was more, going out with them more than kids that I just met in high school. I had a few good friends, and we were still close. We'd jump off the cliff into the lakes. So basically what I'm saying is we do outdoor activities. So
You're with nature.
Yeah, with nature, and we had a healthy circle. I played basketball when I was in the States. Played soccer. We call it football over here. So I was more an outdoorsy person. So I was more into. I was not really into the nightlife or clubbing or things of that nature. I was more into nature, going outdoors, hiking, running. I was more into physical performances, athletics, things of that nature.
Beautiful. That's what kept you grounded.
Exactly.
Like the faith, is it Islam faith?
Also, Islam,
and
praying
nature.
5 times a day, coming from a good upbringing as well.
Of course, a lot of love.
Support.
So, I mean, they say, addiction is definitely related to the lack of love growing up,
Exactly.
because as an addict myself, who's been probably addicted to pretty much anything and everything, there's positive and negatives to it all. It serves me. But they say, the reason that people get addicted to alcohol or drugs, it's a way of self-soothing. They get a sense of nurturing. In the short term, people are coming for painkillers probably because they want nurturing right now because they're uncomfortable.
They're looking for a void.
They just want to feel comfortable. They want to feel love. And that's what drugs give them because they never really got it growing up. So it also could be seen as a psychosomatic way of getting that nurturing by kind of creating that pain within them so they can then get the nurturing. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Right on.
We're complicated creatures.
They lack self-love and self-worth, and they have low self-esteem, so they go to those things to feel it.
And
but it's the wrong type of feeling.
Yeah, well, who are we to judge, right? I'm just saying that because we don't know what we don't know, we're programmed in a certain way. If we are lacking in love and we're creating these situations to then soothe ourselves, it's not surprising that we sort of make up these pains or, like for me, I was lacking love growing up. I couldn't see it, difficulty, victim, whatever it is. So I had what they call the death urge. I didn't feel like living. Because, what was there to live like? There's a void and I'm not happy, so I drink. And so I don't feel like living. I feel like I want to move closer to death unconsciously. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to attract accidents. I'm going to attract criminal activity. I'm going to attract, booze. I'm going to attract illnesses.
Right.
Because ultimately in my unconscious, I don't want to be alive. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then we understand, it was just an accident, or was it really? People who have life urge, who really having maybe coming through them, are potentially less inclined to maybe accidents or pain or things like this. Not everybody, there's obviously exceptions to the rule. What do you feel about that? Or am I just off my rocker?
No, you're good. How about you speak?
Well, I mean, this is very interesting because really, that what you mentioned about your subconscious mind, we tend to gravitate what we believe, and that's if you gravitate for something, it happened more to you. If you know the book which I like, The Secret. I don't know if you read it.
Yeah, I
It's
watched the video. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a marvelous book because really what does it do is the more you think about something, the more it happens to you. So you attract that issue, whether negative or positive, to your mind, and you start seeing more and more and more. If you say like, I'm not feeling well today, I'm tired, I feel I'm sick, I'm not going to work, what are you going to feel? Exactly that. And you're going to feel worse and worse and worse, By the opposite, like, you jump into the bed, like, I'm going to go and catch, my meeting in the office, I'm going to see my friend, I'm going to go play tennis with my friend, and, I'm going to go do gym and this. So that thought by itself, push your adrenaline and dopamine, that's your hormone that boosts your positive feeling. And exactly the opposite. You bring hormones and transmitters in your brain that put you down. So it's real. That's either, you talk about some people like positive thinking. Positive thinking is kind of like summary of something, but it's really much deeper. People like say like he's very, optimistic. People like tend to be optimistic. Why? Because everything that happened to them, they put it in a way that it's good. I learn from that. Maybe for better for me in future. And we are, as Muslim, we are always taught that whatever happened to you for a good reason. You may not know it now. And it's amazingly, it happened to me many times. I have so many turns in my professional life. At that time, I did not like it. But it turned out to really the best. No one look backward and look at your experience as well. Many things happened to you. You did not like it at that time, but it was for your benefit where you are today, for example.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was listening to something recently, and there is a divine presence here. If you maybe believe it, like there's a creator, which obviously there's something you resonate towards, which is fantastic for somebody in your line of work. That's probably why you're drawn here, because some faith has led you to the new earth, right?
Right.
With that in mind, that you're sort of drawn here, with this divine presence that's sort of guiding us, anytime I see a mistake, or I think there's a mistake, or I'm resentful, or whatever it is, somebody should do that, it's as if my mind should know more than the divine. But my limited thinking is plagued with all these misconceptions, beliefs, and conditions. It's not about trusting that. It's about letting go completely and surrendering to the moment. And all those incidences that have happened in my life, I could be seen as a victim if I held onto that story, has actually carved out what the divine gave me. The suffering and the challenges is where the golden nectar is. That's where the lessons are. This is what all the ascended masters have shared from their suffering, from their wisdom, is ultimately seeing that pain and pleasure are inseparable. And if we're seeking one, we'll always attract the other to balance us out. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's if we're looking for a pain in our spine and we're looking for a drug to fix it, I want the pleasure to take out the pain. Whatever we're seeking will always attract the opposite. So they're going to have to keep taking the drugs to get rid of the pain. And they'll never escape it because they haven't integrated it yet. So let's get back to your spine of how people with an injury can integrate the pains rather than escaping it through drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like to comment on one thing.
Yeah.
One thing always tranquil me, give me the best feeling, is really my wallpaper on my phone. And I'd like to share with you.
Please.
Really that humble all of us. And that is really this. When every time I have something, I said, I'm here, and all the world are here. So who's that person or people or whatever that event happened can affect me? And this is the galaxy, which
Milky
is
Way.
Milky Way with thousands of them like this. And then you have God who created all this. And then said, okay, so it is a destiny. You know, we are here. We can't hardly see. This is like solar system, not even the Earth. But imagine this, you know.
It does look like a psychedelic trip.
Yeah, we'll put a little screenshot in the screen that shows
This
it.
is, to
Take us all
me,
on a trip. Yeah.
Every time something,
Yeah.
stressed me, I remember this. It puts you back on common feet. If the creator of all of this, of all of us, is really in control. So why should I worry? And I feel our destination is like, we discover our destination every day by its day. We don't know what's tomorrow. We don't know. We know what you do and you plan, but you don't know. You discover it tomorrow, minute by minute, day by day, by hour. So basically this really, and I always show it to my patients, when they have a problem with this, they have a problem with the work, we have this. I said, look, your boss and this all sitting here. And who controls this? It's the creator, God. So why are you worrying about that person? That person have no control over himself. So whatever God planned for you, you may not see it now as good or bad, but it is calming for you, and that's really what give you, and that's what all religion speak of, from Judaism to Christianity to Islam to Noah, to Ibrahim. All of them get the same message. I'm your creator. Do your best and leave the rest to God, and then you have that peaceful feeling inside you.
The burden given to God, to the absolute one who loves absolutely, is not our job. It's his job, her job, the divine's job.
Right.
We're just here to do the work of loving one another, clearing our way as much as we can, doing the work, and try not to harm each other.
And again, all of that too, you have to remember, now all of us, we're going to go 6 feet under. My parents, bless their soul, they are 6 feet under. But my father was a nice businessman. He did so well and did this. But you have of course, as Albert, but now he just closed his book, went down on underground, and then he gonna wait 100 years, 1,000 years, till day of judgment. Then all will rise to come to our day of judgment, where you are now your creator, not me, not Kair, not your wife, will say you did good or bad. Your creator, So between you and your creator is common connection direct. Between you and your creator. There's nobody in between. And whatever you did is really you're responsible for that. You're not responsible for what Kair did at all, or for me did, or Biden did, You are responsible only for your deed, what you did and you did not do. And that's all of us counted on us. And then you are judged, which is amazingly 100 years on earth, eternity after that. So if you want to weigh it out, it's wow, really wow. I mean, again, you have to have that belief of this. Because I respect people believe, but I'm a strong belief that when you die, it's the beginning, it's not the end. People think that when we die, it's the end. In fact, it's your beginning. Because really, as if I work hard to be a doctor for 10 years, and when I get my degree as a practicing doctor, so this is my beginning. I worked so hard to get that degree, which means successful degree, and this will give me another 4 years of professional of being a physician, for example. So this way, this hard work that I stayed night and day and took the pain and left the party and left this and this, all for what? This degree that I'm dreaming of to have, and I make it my goal. Exactly the same thing in life, except we see this too long, 70 years, 70, 80, 50 years, It's kind of like that. So basically, we are just a spot on this earth, on this universe, and the God is really creator of the whole thing and the organizer of thing, and me and you and the bird and the trees are all God creation and have their own function and servant. You serve me, I serve you, this serve me, I serve the sheep and the sheep serve me, and it is all universal, it is all connected. And that's really, if you look at it from bigger perspective, if you look at it from internal perspective, you go into the cell, into your genes, and your mitochondria, blow your mind out. Blow your mind out. You can say, like, unbelievable. To see how your body does, how does your cell work, how does your nervous systems work, it make your mind boggle. Wow. And it's working, and you don't do anything. My liver working, I'm not doing anything. My heart working, doesn't stop even a minute. If I stop a minute, I'll die. For 70, 80, 90 years, your heart does not stop no matter what you do. You sleep, working. You're playing, working. Eating, working. And you have no control of that. It's going by itself. All this, as you see, my GI system, my kidney, just working. All I have to do, just eat a drink, the rest done inside. I have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. But imagine if you really go deep, what's going on inside us. You said, you really stand, and in great humility instead of the creator of that human inside you. What you know about it inside you, you'll be amazed. It's like, and you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. All you eat what you like. You're not eating to nurse your liver. You just eat, you like that, you like drink, you this, you enjoy it.
Here at the New Earth Cafe is a little bit different. But I love it that you see it from that perspective. It's, invigorating because, you know the body. This is what you train for. And I do want to step back into the spine because people may be watching us going, but get back to the spine. I've got a back issue. But the fact that you're seeing it from that level, and the deeper you go into the body, there's a whole system of intelligence that's happening that is way beyond we wouldn't even be able to learn enough about science to then go, we need to consciously operate our own body. We just wouldn't be able, we'd be dead before we even went to school to learn about it.
Yes.
So thank God that we don't have to think about all of these different things. However, I remember you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza recently. He healed himself his spine, I believe. He had a car accident.
Yeah.
So you have people who use their minds to obviously heal themselves, and I've done some stuff like this myself. Going back to people who are watching this may have, a spine issue. They may have. What's the most common injury? And let's look at practical steps about how they can help to alleviate some of that pain naturally. Okay. And then we can maybe speak up other parts of the spine, whatever you feel is needed.
I'm going to go, briefly to kind of come up to a clinical condition. As I said, the disc is kind of like, it is a nucleus and annulus. This structure is very strong. It holds the whole body, remember. And if it's normal and healthy, it's very strong. Now, if we abuse it for whatever reason, for example, we get overweight, we put too much pressure. If we have a problem with, posture issue, that put too much pressure. If we have deficiency in vitamins, then that make it weaker. If we smoke, it make it weaker. Why? Because this nucleus, it's hydrated through very minute blood vessels, like hair-like, that nourish the nucleus. In the smoker, as we know, you have atherosclerosis. Over time, that blood supply, network blood supply, dry out. So this become dry, fragile, not as strong, not nourished well. Then any push on this will make it go out. And also, sometimes we go in the gym, we're trying to be a macho guy, and then we put too much pressure.
Guilty. I don't like it now, but back in the past.
And what you do, you push too much on this, and then what happened? You get this. So basically, what we do here, and this is a very good example like this, so this is very, soft and strong, and that's like shock absorber. Now, if we push too much like this because we are overweight, we're sitting wrong, and then we are smoker, those blood vessels are closing. So what happened to this? Dry out, become really fragile, and we go and do something wrong, sometimes minor, sometimes major, and all of a sudden when we push like this, we found that this went out like that.
Oy, it looks painful.
And that's very painful. Why is that? Because the nucleus has chemical inside closed. When it goes out, like give you a chemical inflammation. So people who have an acute injury said like, I feel like a knife came into my back. And it evolved because why? It affects the nerve next to it, and this nerve start going down to your leg, and you start having numbing, tingling. The pain starts shooting to the thigh, to the calf, to the leg, and you start having weakness. You cannot stand. So the pain propagate over time. So basically, that's what we see in our clinic at American Spine Center at Dubai Healthcare City, and those are the cases we see. Now, what we are specialized, and that's really important, is really taking care of the patient who have big disc herniation. They have been recommended to have surgery. We treat it at our center non-surgically through our protocol. And that's very important because unfortunately, I saw a lot of surgery done unnecessarily. The problem when you do surgery, you cannot come back. Because if it failed, you really have cut yourself. You went to the disc and you did surgery or you did a fusion and really messed up yourself up. So I always tell the patient, no, put a break and evaluate the situation.
100%. Go to see you before going under the knife, at least to see if that is
absolutely
elevates the pain.
The case.
Yeah.
And we serve as a second opinion to see like if people need a surgery. They come to us, like even insurance sent to us, like does this patient need surgery? And we evaluate them, and we have treated success rate for cases that need surgery. 93% avoided surgery.
Incredible.
93% avoid surgery in our, statistic that done on our practice. So that is really the magnet, which I'm going to talk about it.
Beautiful. Well, you can see the downfall then, the downside of going to a specialist, because a surgeon will always say, you need surgery,
now,
right? Because that's their job. They're going to see from a surgeon's lenses, right?
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly right. Now, I tell my patient, surgery is an option to you.
Yeah.
What the surgeon told you is correct. It's not correct. As he said, he's a surgeon. The way he fixed things through his training as a surgeon. So it's okay, I can go and take this disc out and relieve the pain. But that's half of the story in the treatment, what I'm saying. Half of the story. Why? Because when you cut this, then, you created still weakness here. You did not fix the injury or the rupture of the annulus. So you need to remedy that. So most surgery fail, not because the surgery sometimes is done wrong, because post-surgery care was not there. So what happened, the surgeon do the surgery and said, okay, you're done, you can go back in your life. But he's compromised. Now, the patient, by the time he comes to the surgery, they're being suffering for 2-3 months. They don't go to surgery from day one. So they are compromised over time, So that become like your symptoms, not only pain, but it's a lot of degradation for his spine, for his posture, for nutrition, for sleep, So all this, it's add that to up. So what we really do, we look at what we call 360-degree protocol. The first part of the protocol is to have proper diagnosis, because not every back pain is a disc. You have to see what's called pain generator. Pain generator could be from the disc, could be from the facet, could be from the bone spur. So you have to know where pain generated then, because you need to tackle that, number one. Number two, you have to see what led to this, because what get him to this disc herniation, Not necessarily everybody get an accident. People develop over time because of poor posture, vitamin deficiency, smoking big time, overweight issues, diabetes uncontrolled, hypertension uncontrolled, cholesterol uncontrolled. You have to look at this. You have to fix those. Otherwise, this will never heal. You have to look at the underlying cause that led to this. So we explain that to the patient, and we make them, okay, this is the problem you need to fix as we are going. After we educate the patient, we analyze their risk factor, then we go to the next step, is what we need to do about their acute pain. So we do certain treatment. We use stem cell therapy, get Goldic or BMAC, which is kind of special type of stem cell that does two things. Decrease the inflammation, which help the pain quickly. Number two, repair the injury. And this is very important, repair the injury. If you don't repair this herniation, then it becomes still open and the leak come out again. That's why the problem keep coming after surgery again, because you did not seal that. So we want to do this type of treatment using this technology.
When you say leak, what's leaking?
Okay, you see when this already the disc is here. When this material pushed out, it break this. This is annulus, like a donut, it's closed. It's very strong. When you push too much, it break this annulus, and we call ruptured disc. What's ruptured disc? It means you rupture the annulus. So you start having, supposed to be like this, start getting like this. So the annulus start keep to near leaking to the outside to the nerve. And when that happening, then the problem continue to be present. Continue to be present and come back again. So what you need to do is make sure that rupture seal, close. So not enough, if you want to do surgery, not enough to cut the outside pressure, you have to help this to seal, to help through many things we do, One of them is the stem cell. So that would be the other things, the second part. So we control their pain, we decrease the inflammation, their pain, numbness, tingling, weakness improved nicely, and they help in the healing process. Then you have the third stage. We do some therapy called IDD. IDD is intradiscal decompression. It's a technology from USA. It's created negative interdiscal through creating vacuum mechanisms. So because the disc is compressed like this, so what you do, you tend to kind of like trying to pull it out like that, do like this. This is what does it do through special, technology and a special what we call AI software program.
Okay.
That help the disc to kind of create negative pressure and bring all that nutrient again and bring the disc inside. And it's kind of like an advanced type of physical therapy. And also what we do, that's part of that. Then we do also what's called magnet therapy. We do laser therapy. All those are part of trying to get this disc to heal. That's important. And they would need between 10 to 20 sessions of therapy, including all those technology. And the other thing is we advise them to do what's called maintenance program, where they need to do 2 sessions a month for another 6 months.
Aftercare.
After that. Why? Because it's not enough they are pain-free. We need to have complete recovery. The disc does not heal completely quickly. And when your pain goes away, doesn't mean your disc went back to normal. It means that the inflammation decreased, the disc retracted, but not necessarily went back to its bed. So it takes time. So you have to be patient. You have to do certain routine, and we give them exercise that build up core muscle that they need to do. What I tell them, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, every day for next 100 years. 100 years. The idea is it's a lifestyle changes that you need to do every day.
I love it. For 100 years.
It is really.
So how long? I love it. So, I mean, that's, if you keep it going, then there's no reason why you shouldn't live 100 years, of course.
That is the best and the most important thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Continue doing simple exercise. You get your spine aligned, your posture aligned, your shoulder in order, joint in order, then you're fine. And that's the most important thing of the whole treatment. Then it does not come back.
I love that, because I feel that prevention is far better than the cure. So
100%.
Obviously, some people may just be like, well, I don't have a back issue, thankfully. What is the best prevention method for people to take on a daily exercise?
Good question. Very good question. Excellent, Alex.
Thank you.
I always like, for self, okay, what should I do? Number one, you need to improve your posture. Because especially when we work, we tend to come and, spend hours doing this. What that do? You're putting too much pressure on your disc, 6, 7, 8 hours. So what happened? It start cracking, and you're putting too much pressure on it over many hours. So when you do that, then that disc become weaker and weaker. So we need to work on the posture. We work on the posture through 2 mechanisms. Daily exercise that improve your posture from the head and shoulder. That's the most important, because most posture problems like this, right? From the head and shoulder. So your head is heavy when you do like this, and it's normal when you do like this. When you do like this, heavy. So that's number one, exercise and posture. Number 2, good night's sleep. Sleep is therapy. Sleep is therapy. Why? Because when we sleep sound, our muscle relax completely. When we are in deep sleep, most of us has very irritable sleep, what we call sleep stage 1, 2, and 3, and REM sleep, rapid eye movement. You have to go into the deep sleep that your muscle relaxed. Then what happen when you relax all day like this, then you max, then relax that. You relieve the pressure. And when you're laying down then this, you have less pressure anyway. That's why we say when you have back pain, lay on your back. Why? Because you're standing like this when you're laying down like this. Because the weight of half of your body, 30, 40 kilogram, is having less pressure on this. So we say, okay, lay on your back. That's the most common thing. When you have back pain, lay on your back because you relieve the pressure on this. So, and that happens, imagine, every day for 6 to 7 or 8 hours a day. You lay on your back, relax the pressure, give this to hydrate and develop nutrient, your muscle to relax and detoxify yourself.
Cheers to that.
Absolutely. And, and you go into the REM sleep, rapid eye movement. And that's very important. Sleep, I need to talk about it at length because it's so crucial and important. Then you also need to make sure your vitamin D is at the highest normal. Most people, they said vitamin D normal between 30 and 80. Oh, mine is a little low, 25. It's severely low. It should be 75. Why should it be less? And that's important. And we have always watched your vitamin D, watch your B12, your nutrition, you can take collagen, which is great for the joint, of course, for the whole face and skin and hair. And also, do not push yourself too much weight in the gym. People when do too much in the gym, they cause themselves harm more than benefit. And I see a lot of athlete people with sport injury, they have really developed a lot of chronic problem and their discs are, really compressed and that problem. So this simple advice for a healthy person. Exercise every day, posture, vitamin D, good night's sleep, nutrition. Simple.
Well, I remember you showed me something yesterday, and I'll put the pictures on there as well, your pamphlet. The exercises I do in the morning are, apart from meditation, it's my neck movements, up and down, doing all of this, and then I move close to the floor as I can and sort of do this sort of motion to sort of, I can't even remember what it's called.
Circular motion.
Yeah, circular motion when you're lying on the floor and then stretching, and then the cat and cow.
Yes.
Right, I think it's so important for people to do this and to incorporate it every single day, like brushing my teeth, every single morning, like make it as just
routine,
something that it's just we do. Because I've been having this thought, prevention is better than the cure for years. Otherwise, the spine, I used to do deadlifts and my older brother had to have back surgery because, his injuries, he was picking up quarter of a ton.
Oof.
He was moving.
250 kg.
He was moving cars. That's how strong he got. But obviously, the bones. You pay for the price at some point. And I was going that way. And most people don't really need to deadlift unless you absolutely know you're going into competitions, right? Because otherwise, it's just a big old risk.
Yeah, I agree.
When you injure your spine, you give. Rehabilitation sounds quite lengthy. Right, what you just described, and then for the next 100 years, it's quite difficult, it seems. But you've had the stem cells that obviously help, and you mentioned that you just had stem cells, right?
No,
you didn't have the stem, not in your knees.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, PRP.
PRP.
Yeah.
Okay,
plasma,
that's something else.
Yeah, plasma, plasma-rich,
Fair enough.
platelet plasma for his knees. As also, that's another treatment for people who have, joint injury.
Yeah.
The spine is a joint, so we use also either PRP, or we can use stem cell, or we can use Senecan. All of them are like a stem cell-like treatment. It kind of regenerate, regenerate the joint, the disc, or the knees, for that matter. But yes, you're right. It's not that difficult. Let me say this something. The patient would feel better in the first few days. If somebody comes with acute pain today, by the end of the week, their pain gone. But I always tell them, your pain is not your indicator of your cure. Your pain is an indicator of improvement. So do not fool around and just go back what gets you to this again. And we see it often. I always say from the day, okay, your program is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The program, it's really simple. I made it very difficult, but it's simple. Number one is to control the inflammation. The pain get better in probably a few days. Then do the therapy session. After that, you do your exercise. That's it. And the exercise, why it's important? Because when you get better, you need to continue to do better. And those exercise, I tell them do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, every day for the next 100 years. My point of this, it's a lifestyle issue. And I tell them, do it into your private gym.
Yeah.
That private gym is your home, in your pajama, on your carpet, life membership from me for free. That's what I tell them. That's what I do, by the way. Kair is on he go to the gym. He just put his clothes and we're going to the gym. I am a guy who really like to do it in my carpet, on my pajama, the first thing in the morning.
Me too.
Wash my face, do that, do push-up, pull-up.
My yoga mat set, everything can be done there.
And take my shower and start that's my first thing for the last 25 years.
I can see I'll be doing that for the next 25 years for sure.
And I tell you, this simple thing, it's the magic of your prevention. Or if somebody have a problem, this is the magic for this.
Because I think convenience is so important. Because when you just need a mat.
Yes.
And it's wherever you are, hotel. If you have a gym, then I know what it was like. I gotta, you have to put so much effort into it. And if you really value it, then you'll make the effort. But it's like you got to set yourself up for success. And if you have a mat, and when you look at the mat, you already know your routine, like brushing your teeth. Before you brush your teeth, you have a routine. It just happens.
Exactly.
Even if you don't feel like it, your body then takes over. Like you said, you're sending signals down the spinal cord.
Amazing.
It's already signaled, I'll do this. And maybe you want to take a day off or not do something, but once you're sitting on that mat, you automatically just go into your whole routine.
What I tell them, do this in the morning. Go to the gym if you want.
Yeah,
Go to swim if you want. Go on jog if you want. Do as much as you want. But this is your core.
Yeah, exactly.
You want
the foundation.
The gym, fine, go. Just do. Swim, go. Jog, do. Driving, bicycle, go. No problem. But this is your main one. Then if you want to do the gym, I have no problem with this. But this is your everyday, rain or shine. And he said, like brushing your teeth. You feel like, look like you're one of the subscriber to this, theory. You feel like if your day's not done this, you feel like you are kind of like you need to be ironed. You know what I mean?
Dirty.
You're still kind of need the
you're
wrinkled. You're wrinkled.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
You haven't stretched out. You haven't ringed yourself out.
I stretch all my joint, all my joint. I stretch it. I do push up, sit up, squatting, stretching the neck. That's it. That's all I do. That's it. I have little routine. 5-10 minutes and I'm done. And I have a little habit which I like to. I like to go on the stairs, I am I'm 20th floor, live in downtown Dubai. So I go 10th floor down. When I go, my driver waiting, I said, okay, I'm coming. I go 10th floor down and then just go take the elevator down. Sometimes I go 12, sometimes I go 8, And I try to go up 2 to 3 flight up, when I come up. Add it to your life, you see. I say goodbye to my wife, I just go on the stairs, 10 flight, 150 steps. It's normal. I don't even sweat on that. It's normal of my day, And it's just like you're walking,
You just make it part of your life because
easy. You see, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's too hard and you miss it, and then I look at life sometimes like a buffer. When I have all these rituals and routines, and I stick to it. But as soon as I kind of let go of one chink in my armor, like let's say I start eating gluten, or I start eating sugar, that's right. Suddenly my walls of defenses start to break down, and suddenly I can lose myself into not caring for myself or watching things I shouldn't be watching, whatever. So the more buffers and routines I have around me, I'm creating this sort of moat from the outside influence of the world. It's like a safeguard, this buffer I have, by all my routines and everything else. But once I start stopping it, I know that I'm not giving myself self-love. And that's ultimately what it is. It's self-love. You love yourself enough that why would you not? Because you have life urge. You don't have the death urge.
Yes.
Where you just sort of like want the easy stuff. I want the painkiller. I want this because And you'll get whatever effort you put in. You know, if people want a quick painkiller, yes, for sure, you'll take it away, but it will show up later in some way, shape, or form.
Something, by the way, people they do which I can't do. They go in an ice pocket. Here does that.
The ice bucket, yeah.
Ice pack.
Boy.
He goes there and he win everybody. He stayed
Yeah?
the longest, like 20 minutes.
Big old smile on your face.
I mean, he sit there, and I one time I tried, and like, no way, I don't know, I could not gig it. But
How long were you in there for?
The longest I've been,
Yeah.
21 minutes.
that's long,
You probably have to go to hospital after
He,
that.
he become a popsicle.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Top to
forward
bottom.
out. No, I've done it for about 10 minutes.
You find me in stores near you.
But have you done it from the sauna and then going in? Because that is...
That's something I've been wanting to do.
Oi, there's a place called Longevity. I've had Danny on here
Oh, actually,
before.
I have been there. Sorry.
Yeah, so you do the sauna and then oh my... You try to go from the sauna into the ice bath. I mean, 1 minute is tough as it is because the heat and then that absolute cold. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack. But it's so good for you.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
good for you.
Yeah,
Right?
the world record for the ice bath, I think, is about almost 4 hours. Wim Hof did it, and someone beat his record.
Who did it?
I don't know, some guy in Europe, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's crazy. But it has a lot of discipline. Also, Wim Hof breathing is good.
Yeah, we had Ferdinand
doing-
on our podcast who's like Wim Hof's right hand.
Really?
Well, he does a lot of events in Dubai. I'm not sure if he's right hand, but he broke the world record recently standing on those nails.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, Rami Nauz.
Yeah,
Rami,
that's the
right?
one. He
Yeah,
just
Ken
did,
was there for this world
Ferdinand.
record.
yeah.
That's why I met Rosa.
Yeah, because Ferdinand, he was there doing the whole shebang. So I've studied those
A
things.
lot of world records
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, a lot, just breaking in left, right, and centre. Okay, so looking at the spine, obviously you talked about your treatment centre. I've had somebody on a podcast recently that we haven't put out yet because it's kind of part of a documentary I'm shooting about quantum testing. Rather than taking your blood and things like this, like you did yesterday with a quart of my blood, there's quantum testing. They test your quantum field and they start to read into your quantum because it's all about the here and now, which is quite unique. I'll share it and then maybe you might want to watch it and kind of go, what is this all about? Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's very popular at the moment, because he had an accident and he healed himself with his mind. What do you feel about that? Let's say there's measures, you wouldn't go surgery at the end of the spectrum. You have first the pain. What about people who want to learn about how to heal themselves? Obviously, you'd have to have a lot of discipline and patience when you got in America going, pain, give me a pill.
Yeah.
It's going to take a certain type of person who's willing to kind of go that deep unless they don't have a choice. What do you feel about that? The idea of the mind healing or fusing together certain aspects of the spine.
100%. 100%. And again, now remember, the body have the ability to heal itself. No, not necessarily. We are, as a physician or healer, are an aid to the body to heal faster and complete, for example. So, but the body have the mechanism to heal. You see, what I told you, if I can show you a little bit more, a lot of chemical come from this nucleus. This chemical come out and creating inflammation. Now, when this inflammation happen in pain, the body work out that. So he send, SOS, go and try to kill those foreign body because they are inside. So you have called macrophages, they have natural killers, all this trying to, get this material to shrink and kill it. Mm-hmm. That take time, and the stronger your immune system and your body heals, the better your mechanism is. That's why I said, make sure your vitamins are at its peak because your immune system is strong. You don't have toxin you put in the system, mainly alcohol or at least smoking or chemicals. Nowadays, we drink a lot of chemicals through a lot of plastic cups. All this weaken your immune system. So your body does heal itself. And, you are aiding that. And if you're really determined to do that, you can. You may have to do certain things like, dress on your back is part of your healing yourself, Lay on your back. It's healing yourself. Your body says, okay, lay on your back. I feel better. Then I will lay on the back. Then if you do this, it's better. If you take this type of food, you feel better. If you stretch, better. You put heat on it. You put ice on it. This is all. This is all natural healing. Healing your body by helping the body to heal itself. You see, it's what we do is we, when the patient come to us, most of them, they did many things at home. They rest, they put ice, they put heat, they put back brace, they put cream, they took Tylenol, they did all that. Then did not work for them. Then they come to us, right? They don't come from day one. And when they come to us, we said, okay, what led to this? We find like they have issues there. Their overweight issue, their, problem with posture, they are diabetes not controlled, their, hypertension, cholesterol is high, smoker. You see, all those led to the body unable to heal itself well because your inner system is not strong enough to heal it. You see, so we go ahead and support it at that time. But you can heal if your body is strong in this and you have injury, heal yourself. You can heal yourself very nicely.
That's beautiful. A beautiful segue, because I know in the US, maybe if people are willing to pop a pill very quickly, they're probably not willing to do the work to actually preserve their body.
Yes.
In order to, keep it in this state where it can start to heal itself. When I got my blood tests and I'm doing my work on myself, I've noticed that the doctor said, you've really preserved your body very well by eating at the cafe. You're eating the food, your body, the vitamin D, everything is fantastic. Might have some issues, but if your body wasn't preserved, it would be a lot worse because your body would be kind of behind the 8 ball, as they would say in the US.
Exactly.
You're not giving it space to be able to heal itself. At least you're giving your body everything it possibly can. I mean, at least by eating the right foods. Talking about food, what is the link between gluten, sugar, or dairy? Especially these sort of components. What effect does that do to the preserving of the body, or what does it do to the spine? Does it interrupt, to get in the way of the healing process?
Yeah. Now, gluten, it is a sensitivity to gluten. Some people have a gluten sensitivity. Some people don't. Like I do not. Kair does not. My wife does not. But I have other friends does have that gluten issue. So the gluten is really you have sensitivity to digest it, because of lack of certain enzyme in your body, whether genetic or acquired. Then if you take the gluten containing food, then your body does not tolerate this and developing a problem. When you develop a problem, become GI problem, and then your bacteria inside, the microbiome in your GI system become disturbed, then your whole system does not absorb your food well. You eat, but you don't absorb it well. You lose the nutrient. So it's going to give you a cascade of, malnutrition in a way, And many people do not know they have, for example, gluten sensitivity or dairy sensitivity, and they have a lot of bloating, a lot of this, a lot of that, and they're not really metabolism well, and they go search, by at the doctor. Then they finally have gluten sensitivity and or dairy sensitivity. So it's okay if you stay away from this, your GI system will work well. Then you stay away from this, then you're back on track. So, the problem is not gluten itself. It's really the lack of well absorption, all your nutrient that you need when you take your nutritional food, for example. If you're good taking, like yourself, eating healthy, but you're not absorbing them, then it means as if you're not taking them, So the problem when you have something deficient in your body, either your amount of intake is not enough, or the absorption is not appropriate, or the metabolism of that in your system is not metabolism, or you lose it too fast. For example, who has, for example, anemia. Anemia could become from either you're not taking enough iron, one, or your iron is not absorbed here, or you are bleeding somewhere. You have heavy cycle, for women, or you have a bleed in the GI and have blood in the stool, so you're losing it there. So this is the 3 cause of a problem of why you have low in your system, for example. So that's, so we always see, okay, is it a problem with the intake, problem with absorption or too much loss of it, you know? So again, that's what is the gluten issue, the dairy issue is related to your GI system. And GI system is your first immune organ. You have now the microbiome that your bacteria would call natural flora in your body, in the GI, is good for you. You have almost 1 to 1.5 kg of bacteria in your body. Imagine part of the serotonin, which we call the happy hormone, are produced from those bacteria. So there's something called gut-brain connection, if you heard that term. So tell you, if you have good gut, then that gut help your brain function well. So, see the gut, it's so long. You take everything, go through that pathway,
My second brain. Well, look, I mean, there's so many different people have their own opinions about gluten, about dairy. They say, I'm reading a book called Gut Brain, I think it is. And this guy's pretty sure that everybody has a gluten issue, but some have it more severely than others, that it actually affects people with ADHD, potentially linked to schizophrenia, bipolar, because gluten has shifted since maybe 50 to 100 years ago because of just the manufacturing process of it, where it's not so, the body doesn't break it down as well as it used to, because gluten is just not the same as it was, because it's just how it's manufactured. And so it's better to probably stay away from it, especially in America, where they're probably, mass producing a lot of things that you just have to be really conscious, and this is why we're conscious eatery, to not even need to risk it if we can avoid it. Like dairy, apparently it's supposed to strengthen your bones, but it also causes osteoporosis.
Sure.
There's something in it, especially if it's mass produced, and there's chemicals in, the cows, and then that goes into the milk, and then that goes into the body, and then our body's fighting whatever chemicals are in the milk that is taken away from healing the spine and the other organs. Now it's dealing with this foreign anomaly that's come into the body, because maybe 100 years ago drinking cow milk was very different than it is now. So you kind of have to be like, where do I go? What do I do? And I want to protect myself. I want to keep myself in this state, so my body can at least heal itself. But sugar, 100 years ago or not, I think we can agree that sugar obviously causes inflammation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you see sugar, impacting the spine?
You see, sugar is really, it's a toxin, really. Pure white sugar is really toxin. And, because really it affects your function of your body, your brain, it develops a lot of what we call free radicals. The free radicals is your toxin that develop from fast processing of your sugar. Now, we can take carbohydrate, wheat, and even like certain rice. You process it differently because you break it down in a way. But when you take pure sugar, white pure sugar, you're affecting your first of all, your organism here, because you're feeding them. Number two, affect your function of the brain, and it's really kind of give you the buzz, of this, boost of your sugar elevated. And what does it do? It creates a lot of toxin we call free radicals. Now, all of us, we developed, metabolism from anything we do. While we're eating, walking every day, any move, you develop certain, toxin, which is normal, that the body cleanse it and take care of it. But if you overload the system, then the ability to clear it become behind. Then you develop more and more, free radicals in your body. Then your body start breaking down. Your brain not focused well. Your memory become debilitated, and you develop fatigue. You have no energy by the end of the day because you're not cleansing your toxin enough. And the best time to cleanse your toxin is at night. Imagine we spend 20 to 25 years in bed of our life. 20 years, all you have to do, close your eyes. You have not to do anything. Just close your eyes and your body start cleansing. Your heart slow down, breathing slow down, and the kidney and the liver start working and cleaning, and you're not producing more toxin because you just do nothing, right? So you cleanse all your toxin from your body. So what happened in the morning? You wake up refreshed. Why? You wash all your toxin. So if you overload your system with a sugar in the daytime, you do not sleep well at bedtime, then you overload your body with toxin. And day in, day out, your load of a toxin becomes so high, you start having aching pain, fibromyalgia, no energy, fog, memory, and also, by the way, that increase the chance of cancer. Why is that? Because we always develop what's called apparent cell. That cell, they are not proper. The cell are good, but sometimes the cell degraded, degraded because cells die, right? Our skin cell die every day. Our, intestine dies every day. But sometimes this degradation, there's certain things that clear those dead cell does not happen. So you have more irregular cell that become not controlled because all our cell perfectly controlled. What is cancer? Cancer is uncontrolled multiplication of the cell. They multiply, become a mass. That's what is cancer in simple term. So when those cells are not able, the body to degrade it and kill it because of load of toxin, and the body unable to clear this, so those apparent cells, they survive more and more, and they develop more and more. By time meaning 10 years, by the way, not by time tomorrow, cumulative. The whole thing is cumulative. Then you develop a cancer, you develop Alzheimer, you develop Parkinson's disease. Why most conditions happen after the age of 50 and 60? Because they started at age 30 and 40, And after 10, 20 years, the problem become manifested because the body cannot tolerate it. Now, I was on NBC News talking about Alzheimer's disease. I said, when you develop those plaque, beta amyloid, they did not happen when we discovered the patient is age 70 have problem with the memory. Started in age 40 and 50, but it overwhelmed the brain. About 70, 80% of the brain then become decompensate, then cannot function so well. They clinically then present, but it started so slow. The same thing when people have heart attack and stroke. The blood vessel close a little bit, atherosclerosis. This grow, 10 years, 20 years, then at one time, close completely. When the lumen 80% or 90%, then all it takes a little bit of a break, then close, then you get heart attack. That heart attack, that blood started 20 years ago. The stroke, the same thing. So when we do cardiac arrest, we have 90% closing for, middle artery. The posterior artery is 80%. They put stent, right? But this, started way back. The same thing is when you have this overfeeding your body with the wrong food, developing a lot of toxin, the body unable to degrade that, unable to kill the atypical cell, to grow, over time, overcome the power of the body and develop the cancers and metastases and this and this and that. That's why prevention and early detection is the key issue for treatment. That's the key issue. Medicine have not succeeded in a lot of treatment. We do not cure diabetes. We do not cure hypertension. We treat them. You have diabetes, give you medication to help you control your sugar, control your diabetes, you control your Alzheimer, improve your Parkinson, but we do not cure the condition. The only thing we cured is infection. You have sore throat, give you antibiotic, we kill, then you cured. That's the only thing. The prevention is your vaccine. Polio, we eradicated polio by giving vaccine. Prepare your body to, if the polio virus hits you, your vaccine ready, attack it quickly, clinically not there. You see, that's you see the system, but everything else now, we're not curing. We're not curing, except the back pain.
Exactly, that's
we
what
cure the back pain now.
And I just want to touch, because you mentioned vaccines, and like I said about gluten, I don't know why these two come together right now. Gluten, because of the industrial complex thinking, the idea that profit over people, this is sort of the mechanism that we've been conditioned by. So the gluten is manufactured in a way that, is obviously not as healthy for you as, say, the gluten in bread that it was 100 years ago. I feel there may be a similar link to vaccines. Back then it was about curing, but now it's more focused about money. We've seen people like this, forcing vaccines on people regards to COVID and there's, a lot of backlash about that. And it's hard to know, was it the morality around that? Was it really about helping people, or was it really around money? Because you can see what do you feel about that as a doctor? That link, what I kind of just shared, maybe a different perspective there.
Well, I mean, COVID is really, it's a new era of pandemic, of infection came across all the world. I get, case of, infection during the epidemic. Kair got
Me
it.
too.
Yeah.
We all did.
But, thank God it was not big. I was mild. I able to work. I did not even stop. I think Kair had very same thing. My wife had the same thing. So we tried always to, but we did the vaccine too, by the way. But counting on that vaccine, it's really, it's a quick attack. If they have to work quickly to find a solution, a treatment, and vaccine, so a lot of product went through the pipeline very fast without verification of the integrity of it. There was not enough study, but there's not enough time either. So something has to be done. And there's like Chinese, then you have the Russian too, then you have the American, you have the German. So everybody everybody guessing, the other. Now, I saw cases who really bought the vaccine, they develop serious problem. This is called the mental fog. It's very common. Mental fog with vaccination from the COVID. They have like not focusing concentration, but that's difficult to contribute to the vaccine alone, or maybe they got the disease itself and they get some infection, meningitis or encephalitis that affected the brain, and those people are in the ICU on the intubator. They're not breathing, but they may be survived, but they have a heavy attack of the disease. And of course they get the vaccine. So difficult to say it is the vaccine or this. But I have a very interesting case. Maybe here I share that with you. There's a lady from Poland. She is ice skater champion of Poland. I think she was like 16-year-old. She is like won her championship at that year. She took vaccine. After about 2-3 weeks, she get what's called transverse myelitis. It means inflammation in the spinal cord that paralyzes her from the neck down. And they become on intubator, hardly can talk. In 3 weeks period, if you see her and they were bringing it to us to treat her with stem cell therapy from Poland because of this transverse myelitis. But you see, the only thing, she didn't even have a COVID. The only single things happened to her is the vaccine. Transverse myelitis.
Wow.
That inflammation of the cord across paralyzed her down. She is like, it shocked you to see her skating in the ring and on the wheelchair in the bed, cannot even move except her head.
Wow.
Exactly like Superman.
It's like ALS.
Yeah, like ALS.
Wow.
So again, difficult really.
Risk.
Yeah, difficult to say or nay.
I feel like the young people could have just avoided it from the percentage of, people who got it and who it was very, very young, babies or very, very old people.
Yes.
Everybody else could have been left alone. I think
But
it's a consensus.
if we notice retrospectively, we find out people who have immunocompromised condition, people who have, chronic diseases, people who have deficiency in vitamins, especially vitamin D, the smokers, the diabetic uncontrolled. You see, all those suppress your immune system. And the elderly, who are also compromised, okay, it affected this two generation, this one. Of course, middle age also. But, retrospectively, we find out those are the one who are at risk, who are affected the most, So that's why I say, okay, do the prevention, get your defense system very strong. Then usually you can take anything and you can survive nicely.
It's It's like information fact-finding mission for humanity, wasn't it? Good, bad, it was great, it was bad, it's all balanced, as it always is. And we've learned a lot from it, from the collective. There were victims to it, people lost their lives. But a lot of amazing things came out of it, I didn't see it, even though I caught it myself and I kind of suffered quite badly from it. I'm blessed for the experience because a lot of people actually had their spiritual awakening during the COVID time.
Yes.
A lot of people like you coming on a podcast, it was around that time that something shifted.
Yeah.
Because it broke their routine. Suddenly there's this,
Like a wake-up
worldwide shared global experience that we're all having, and it connected us all in a very odd way. So with that in mind, I want to make sure that we kind of wrap it up. Is there anything you feel that you want to kind of, a burning desire to share that you feel people would love to hear about?
I'm a strong believer on prevention. By the way, tomorrow is the, Alzheimer Day, Global Alzheimer Day tomorrow, by the way. And we're making a special program about that, I strong believer of simple measure that you need to do in your life to make your life healthy and able to live well, And the simple measure is, as we discussed it, the way you eat, the way you drink, you sleep, make sure your nutrients up in the best, and eat in the, Earth Cafe, healthy food, and,
I didn't even pay him.
And daily exercise, good night's sleep, watch your vitamin, take supplement, because sometimes, unfortunately, our processed food is really poor, even you buy vegetables, now all GMOs, Kair know all about this, how they are changed their genes and this, and you feel like they look beautiful. It's funny thing, by the way, when I go buy my, vegetable, I find the old country from Africa, they don't have a lot of GMOs to buy their fruits. If it's like this from New Zealand, okay, I don't want that. Where's it from Africa? Because I know they're not sophisticated like the New Zealand apple.
See you mean.
I buy those, they are much juicier and they made a lot good. And you have to buy the fruits, they do not look alike. If your all apple look alike, it means they're like, cookie
Genetically modified, yeah.
But they are everyone big or small. Those are natural. This is what natural is. So I always look at, okay, I don't want to let them all look alike. They are shiny.
Yeah.
Okay, they are modified.
It's like they're the photoshopped fruit. Because
Yeah.
that's what people think, they want it to look
Yeah.
like that. Because natural looks ugly.
Yeah.
And then so they stay away from it. And so they
Exactly.
no, people want it to look shiny. But my God, you might want it to look, like what it does to the body.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I
then
always
we get
look to
spine
the one
problems.
who's like, they don't look alike. Okay, this is definitely not being played with. So most of my thing come from Africa. Where's the African apple? I buy. Where the African orange? I buy.
You buy the one that looks normal, but you wind up looking normal after a while.
Yeah, it's quite good advice. I mean, just for people, to really connect with that,
Yeah.
Mother Africa for
and,
sure.
And a lot of
100%.
people now do the prevention through the stem cell IV. We do now stem cell IV, which really regenerates your body. We have a lot of business people who's well-to-do come to our clinic who does, ozone therapy, like you did.
Yeah.
We do laser therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and stem cell therapy. This is very natural, which can boost your metabolism and make you like 10 years younger from doing this. Why? It boosts your organs to function well, because all our organ age natural. We age. Your heart age, your liver age, your brain age, your muscle age, natural. So what we do, we give them a boost of, reverse aging. So that's why I call longevity. But it's really more than longevity, it's well-being. Well-being, and our clinical wellness by design, it's really we do wellness exactly by design. Personalized medicine is the new medicine now. I do something specially for you based on your genetic. I study your genetic. I know exactly what you need, what antibiotic help you, which food doesn't work for you. And I can tell you what condition you are susceptible for. So I can predict your health. If you are 20 or you are 50 or you're 70, predict your health, what you carry risk from your genes. All of us carry all our ancestor genes. And I have history of diabetes in my family from my father. But now I'm controlling I know I have it in my genes, but I'm controlling it through proper healing. So you don't have to manifest it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice, you've just opened up, felt like it could be an episode 2.
Yes.
Because you're saying, it could be like you're saying, Alex, let's take you on this journey so people can see it through your eyes about the journey of what does that look like? Because when you mentioned the ancestors, what does that look like? That what we're carrying their stuff emotionally, psychosomatically, and, within our biology. So it's quite interesting that you say that. Maybe there's a reason why you've said that. Maybe if people are up for it and they want to see that, what does that look like? Maybe through my experience, what it is to go through that. So then they may want to do the same because they don't know. They hear it, but what does the process actually look like? Maybe we'll explore that.
The genetic is really, really shocking. Shocking. You have no idea how the genetic now, everything now is treated through genetic. Now we treat diseases through genetic. If somebody have problem in the genes, for example, Down syndrome, we can go and call, Casper9, which is a special process. We take the defective gene, we fix it, and you fix the person. This is the new genetic therapy. This is the most advanced way of treating condition through genetic therapy, through what's called Casper9. This is the latest of the latest of treating problem of genetic. And when you understand genetic and epigenetic is the new medicine now.
Well, if you want to use me as a guinea pig, just say so, okay? I appreciate it. Really, thank you. Thank you for showing up on our podcast. Thank you for showing up at the Bring Your Truth event.
Absolutely.
We're actually going to kick off the next one on the 11th of October. We've moved it. So if you're around, I think you were going to be away, so maybe you guys are back by then.
Yeah,
It'd be
we'll be back
brilliant
by
to
then.
have you there. And, just thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you,
because
Alex.
it's so important for people to understand this. And, you've given it the bite sizes that they needed, the impact if they don't use it. So we'll put it all in there. They're going to see all this in the video so they can actually utilize this and put it as part of their, lifestyle.
Our last name, Hakim, means wise. So,
Dr. Wise.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, thank you for making this happen.
Thank you for
I really
having us.
appreciate
Khair, who was
it. You were
really-
holding the space here.
Yeah, introduce
No.
us.
He was
to
probably
you.
like at one point going, what's that?
I'm learning from both legends.
Yeah, you have this energy. So Dr. Hakim, really appreciate it. Thank you. Just for your, your wisdom, of course, and, just for your nurturing way. People, it's a very vulnerable thing to go into, and, people want to feel safe and loved, and you have faith and you're connected, and that, I think, adds a lot of weight
Right on.
in this field when there's so many people who are abusing their, powers and all for the wrong reasons. So it's nice to see you here to
Pleasure
represent. So thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much. I
Alex.
appreciate it, Alex. Thank you very much. You're just a nice moderator for the event. You have a wealth of knowledge, and I respect your also background. You look like you've been around a lot.
Around the block.
Around the block, absolutely.
around town.
You're beaten up, you're beaten up, you're beaten down.
Pretty much.
And I like people who really come from, from dumpster to we're here. Because to me, I thought this is the best people to learn from.
Yeah.
Because they've been there and they've been here, and that's important.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. From the days that used to run clubs called Mischief, and now we're here in the New Earth. So you can't really get more of a polarity than that.
Yeah.
So
Makes
dumpster
sense.
to where I am, absolutely right. Guys, thank you so much for checking us out here at the New Earth Studios in our beautiful New Earth Cafe. It's been wonderful. And you watching us makes this a reality. So keep watching, keep subscribing, and keep coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Much
Stay
love.
blessed.
Ciao.
Thank you.
We vibe when you subscribe.